Welcome to Dragon Chain News Flash. Bitcoin and crypto suddenly branded a national security issue. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have been thrown into the limelight over recent months by social media giant Facebook's plan to launch its own private cryptocurrency next year, with much of the attention negative. U.S. President Donald Trump sends shockwaves through the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency community last week when he branded Bitcoin based on thin air. With his comments just coming after the chair of the U.S. Federal Reserve said closer regulation of cryptocurrency was needed. Now, U.S. Treasury Steven Mnuchin has added his voice to the assault on Bitcoin, Facebook's planned Libra crypto project, and other cryptocurrencies, warning they pose a national security risk to the country. The U.S. government is running out of money faster than expected, Mnuchin warns. ENY says blockchain's not understood by almost 70% of firms in Asia Pacific. Over 2/3 of enterprises in the Asia Pacific region lack a solid understanding of blockchain tech and how to apply it, a new Ernst & Young poll reviews. Noting that 68%, over 2/3 of polls attended, responded by admitting that they lack the knowledge and sufficient training to implement blockchain and its applications. ENY remarked that this lack of education represents the greatest barrier for boards and executives to proceed with adopting blockchain solutions. That's the same feeling I get when I read a news story I don't understand. Blockchain is changing loyalty programs. By some estimates, it costs 5 times as much to acquire a customer than it does to keep an existing one. Thus, fostering customer loyalty is critical for most businesses, especially e-commerce. E-commerce merchants have hundreds of potential technologies and techniques to encourage customer loyalty, but blockchain technology and blockchain-based crypto tokens offer unique advantages. In other breaking news, I love prizes. Samsung teams with banks, telcos for mobile ID networks based on blockchain. Tech giant Samsung Electronics is joining 6 other major South Korean firms to develop a blockchain-based certificate and identity authentication network. The service will provide a self-sovereign authentication solution that does away with middlemen services that allows users to verify their identities or qualifications over a blockchain, keeping more control of their own personal data. Individuals can store their data on a smart device and submit only the data they choose when certification is required. Breaking news, if someone wants to steal my identity, maybe someone will make something of my life. And that is Dragon Chain News Flash today. Thank you.
My name is Ryan Sanderson. I am the CEO and one of the co-founders of Knowledge Perk, a coffee company based out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Knowledge Perk is like I said, it's a coffee company, is where we started with the product, but our goal is really to head into the technology space, education space, and use technology to create immersive educational experience for the customer with coffee. There's a lot of different ways that we want to do that, and we started with the product, which led me to how I actually got introduced to Dragon Chain. My coffee company is in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and we were kind of on a mission to find an office space. We're growing out of our little space. Our brand new space is about 4,500 square feet of technology and education. That space is being built, and we realized we put so much emphasis on the customer and the technology that we kind of left out an office space. So we decided we need to find some office space for us, kind of corporate, and in so doing, found a building that was going to work really well, started working with the person there, and realized that we wanted to get some neighbors in there and kind of create this entrepreneurial environment, like a co-working space. I ran into an employee of Dragon Chain, Eric, in Rock Hill, South Carolina, I think at a chamber event. We just started talking, it was a quick introduction. He started telling me a little bit about what he was doing and what they were doing in Rock Hill. And I started telling him about the coffee company and was like, wait, maybe there's some synergy in this office space kind of thing. You guys are looking for a place, we need a place. So we started talking, and that worked out pretty well, actually. I was able to introduce him to a place where Dragon Chain's new kind of, I guess, East Coast headquarters, almost, if you will, could get started in this office. And the more we talked about what Dragon Chain is and what it can do, the more we started to realize on our end that that's the single best way for us to start adding the new technology piece to what we wanted to do with our company. Eric and I went back and forth for 3 or 4 weeks on kind of what that could look like, what we might could do. He had some great ideas on how we could make it available for a customer quickly. And then he basically came to me and said, look, we want to kind of take this and run with this. And he gave me a couple ideas and said, what do you think? I talked it over with my business partner. We said, all right, let's do it. And then, no joke, 4 days later, we had something operational. Having been in the startup world, we move incredibly quickly. Entrepreneurs move fast. But I had no idea that the technology piece could allow us to go from absolutely nothing to something that's being beta tested in our store right now, today, in 4 days. So I'm not sure what caffeine substitute Dragon Chain's using at Seattle headquarters. But whatever it is, it works some miracles, because Eric and his team in Rock Hill had it up and running. And the ability for us to be able to take a technology and implement it so quickly is absolutely key to what we want to do in the rest of the coffee space, because it gives us the ability to come up with an idea, have a solution with a company like Dragon Chain that can be implemented very quickly and efficiently, see if it's going to work, not work, and then pivot and maybe grow that, change it, whatever. So as part of this, a huge shout out and kudos to Dragon Chain for, one, helping us solve a problem, helping us identify the problem, and then bringing it to market in 4 days, which is record time.
Hi, I'm Dean Shelton, Director of Engineering at Dragon Chain. I wanted to show you how you can use smart contracts on Dragon Chain to get your business logic onto a blockchain. It's actually pretty straightforward. Let's just jump in and do it. I have a chain here that I built out. It's a level 1 Dragon Chain. I called it Demo or Die. And we're going to put our own business logic on here that's going to read from a private Ethereum network, pull the data into a contract, do some business logic, and then push it back out to the private Ethereum network. So in and out with our business logic in between, pure blockchain. And we can do it with Docker. I have here on my screen, this is a TypeScript Node.js contract, but really you could write this in whatever language you want. You could write it in a single line of POSIX shell, probably. JavaScript's a little verbose, but this will get the job done. You can see it pulls in a found Ethereum transaction, and this will just be an array of numbers, so it'll end up looking sort of like this, 1, 2, 3, and it'll add these numbers together using an array reduce, and then it should output the result of the sum of this array. And that could be an array of any 3 numbers. I have a script here that's going to generate that on this private Ethereum network. You can see 3 numbers randomly between 1 and 9, and it's going to send them to this address with no value, no ETH, but just as a data transaction. So I have a private Ethereum network already set up. Let's just SSH into it. This private Ethereum node. This is just on an EC2. It's running Geth. And you can see this is the Geth node just mining away, doing its magic, throwing garbage out into the universe. That's what's happening. So we want to generate some traffic on this network and then have our Dragon Chain pick it up, do the business logic, and send it back out. That's what this demo is going to be about. So how do we get our JavaScript or POSIX shell or Golang or Ruby or whatever onto a Dragon Chain? What's that process look like? Well, there's a couple options for you. You could use the user interface at console.dragonchain.com. I'm on our staging site, but you could just click on create contract, select custom, and give it all the details for your Docker container. And once you push create contract, it'll just pull your Docker container in and run it. But let's do it from scratch here. This is the example interchain project that I'm in, and we're going to build and push this Docker container. Docker build dot, and I'm going to call it something. I'm going to push it to my own repository on Docker Hub. I'm going to call it Booyah. So I'm going to just build this, and that should go. Okay, and now I'm going to push it up. Okay, booyah. All right, so now my Docker container is sitting there on Docker Hub, ready to be used on a Dragon Chain. So what do we do to actually get that onto the Dragon Chain? Well, you could use the UI right here, or you could use DCTL, the Dragon Chain command line tool, to add your contract. And I like to do it because it's really turnkey and easy. But you can see I'm already connected. If I say DCTL status, I have my keys plugged in, and I'm talking to my Dragon Chain with an ID of this. This is the demo or die chain. So let's add our contract here. So I'm going to just say DCTL contract create, and I'm going to call it business logic. And I have to give it the Docker URL, which let me make this a little bit bigger here. So this is at docker.io/Dean Shelton 913. Booyah. Oop, I spell it right. Booyah. Yeah, it was booyah. Booyah. Right, that was it. Yeah, that was it. Okay, so here, booyah, latest. And then we're going to tell it how to run it. This is a Node.js application, and it runs at app dist index.js. This is just the start command for whatever container you use. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need to give it. And this should create my contract. You can see the business logic contract's being created. It's pending right now. So if you were to go to the UI, you could actually probably see it there getting built out. Let's go to the chain details page and refresh. And there it is. Boom. Okay. So it's active. It's actually already ready. So cool. So now we have our business logic on the blockchain from a Docker container. That was pretty straightforward. Now we just have to feed it information from the Ethereum network and then allow it to publish that information back out. And Dragon Chain has two really easy contracts pre-built to help you do this. There's a watcher container and there's a publisher. And you can go through the contract creation process here and create the watcher. Really straightforward. Just give it a name. Doesn't really matter what it is. Tell it how often you want it to run. Tell it what address that you want it to watch. In this case, we're going to be watching this address that I'm going to generate traffic on, which I hold the private keys to. And yeah, we can fill all that stuff out here, or you could just use the DCTL command, which is really easy. So I'm going to do that. Create the watcher, and out it goes. And the last piece is to build a publisher. And you can also find that in the Ethereum publisher contracts. You can even tell it what private network you want to talk to. Mainnet, Robston, Custom, Morden. I mean, this means you could use a contract to read from one Ethereum chain and actually publish to a different entire Ethereum blockchain. Or if you wanted to make a publisher for a different network, you could even publish to Bitcoin or Neo. So that's kind of cool. Let's just shortcut it, and we're going to use DCTL to create the publisher. It just is the Dragon Chain publisher container with all the information that it needs to talk to the private node, which is just this. So here we go. Copy this, and I'm going to create that. Okay, so now we have 3 contracts out on my Dragon Chain, and we're going to check them out. Let's see if they've loaded yet. So we've got 2. The third one should be installing right now. Okay, one more. All right, so after we get these things up and on our chain, we're going to tail the logs. Let's see if they actually get created. So, show me potato salad. All right, Okay, there it is, the publisher. Here we go. Okay, cool. So we have a watcher, business logic, and a publisher. It goes in that order. We watch things on a private network here, and it's going to feed information to our business logic, and that's going to go to the publisher, which sends it back out to the blockchain. let's set up some watchers and tail these logs so we can actually see it happen in real time. We have the blockchain happening right here. This is just it's a private Ethereum. So we're going to create a pipe to our contract. So let's just watch this thing happening. This is I forgot this. This is the watcher contract. Cool. So you can see it just running here. That's watching the Ethereum blockchain happen over here. I'm going to grep the output here so we don't see that verbose output. I can just do grep when it finds something and show the 10 lines after that. Okay, so we have that grep running. Now we're going to tail the logs for our business contract, and I'm going to clear this thing out, and we can link it to our contract here. This is Business Logic's contract ID. Cool. Okay, no output yet. That's good. It hasn't been triggered. So lastly, we're going to tail the logs of the publisher over here. So, okay, and you could also look at these logs in the Dragon Chain console. They're available by just clicking the log button and refreshing that log stream. But I like to do it on command line because, I don't know, just more developer friendly, I suppose. So now all there is to do really is to submit traffic on the network with this create transaction endpoint. And we should see that go out to the network. Let's do that now. So I'm going to run that script. You can see we created a transaction with the numbers 2, 3, and 6. And the Ethereum node takes some time to do the block. But once it creates a block, it goes all the way through. And this log here is the publisher transaction. So you can see it actually published out to the Ethereum network, which in our case was that private node here, this address. And this is the transaction hash. So let's see what that looks like. I have a block explorer for that private Ethereum node just sitting right next door to it. And if we look at its transaction, it published this data, which is, if we go here and translate it from hexadecimal to UTF-8, you can see that we linked the Ethereum input hash here. So this is actually a hash on that same network with the new output hash, which we just looked up, and it has 2, 3, and 6 outputting 11. So that's our business logic exposing just what we want on the private Ethereum network. Input, output, private, nothing's public, and out it goes. At this point, this transaction has now been recorded on Dragon Chain, so it's going through the 5 levels of consensus, and everything that we've just done is ledgered on the blockchain. So a pure blockchain solution that interchains private Ethereum. And you could really do this with anything. I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Yeah, happy coding.
I'm sure we are all curious to know what is your vision of the digital transformation at Yoke Impact?
My vision of the digital transformation is to have a digital record of the stock we have and what we do with it after to paint a digital picture of the life cycle of a product from the point when the consumer donate or give the product away. How do we recycle it and produce it into something new that can be used? And how do we create a new line of fashion based on that, or turn it into other materials for the benefit of people? So blockchain technology gives a very convenient way to track the material and allows us to have a reliable data set to do an analysis on what is the best direction to take the business and based on the resources the business has. It also bring us into the space where we can actually paint a picture for the brands, like where does the data point to in terms of the longevity of the product they produce, and whether people keep them, and which are the products that people actually not give us, and which are the products that they recycle out very fast.
How do you think the Dragon Chain technology can be implemented at Yoke Impact?
I think the way Dragon Chain technology can be implemented at Yoke Impact is we could automate clothing donation and collection and have that data set be collected by Dragon Chain and recorded. So our staff, instead of sorting all these materials by hand in an imprecise manner, can bring precision to the process, save wastage, and have a immutable record of the process and how to optimize the process. Dragon Chain can also help on the sales end by helping us draw a map of what's the best use of the material we collect and what they should be recycled into. It will also help us launch our own new clothing brand if we want to, on a fashion aggregation platform, which we're able to tag the clothing at creation. Let's say if it's up and coming new fashion designer in Singapore, we could help them by launching their brand, but also tagging the product they create, so that when it's finally recycled and flows back into York Impact, we can have a picture of its life cycle and decide how to best to recycle it and probably even feed the same material back to the same designer and achieve full circular economy.
So, how do you think Dragon Chain can help to give a purpose to the recycling that solves the overstock issue in the fashion industry?
Dragon Chain can help with the repurposing of this overstock materials by actually tracing um, the sales performance and the demand of the recycled material, and it also can do give us a map of what the recycled material is made of. Previously, it wasn't clear without the help of blockchain technology and Internet of Things, and with the implementation of Dragon Chain, that were able to help us do that.
Okay, hello everyone. So that was episode 1 of Super Happy Dragon Lucky, and we're going to do another giveaway now. Hopefully the show there's some improvements, and we'll keep making improvements. And we have a couple of good ideas coming, especially with the rebrand coming up. So the giveaway this week, I have 3 prizes that were actually inserted into the coffee mug by me and not Chad this week, so we don't have any problems there. And we'll draw for one of 3 prizes based upon whoever answers correctly first these 20 questions. All right? So we're going to start with question 1. How do you spell Danny's last name? And please answer inside of the YouTube chat. Give you a little bit of time there. Then question 2. What percentage of Dragon tokens were sold during the Dragon Chain token sale? All right. Question 3. What is the first name of the CEO of Knowledge Perk? All right. Question 4. In what state is Knowledge Perk located? Question 5. In what year did Satoshi publish the Bitcoin white paper? Question 6. I'm being asked to slow down. So there's a delay too, so we're trying to work through what the best way to do this. So we're going to keep making it better. And by the way, next week we will pre-announce what the prizes are. So hopefully today, tomorrow, or at least very soon, you'll know what we're going to give away next week. So we good to go forward? Okay, question 6. Is Craig Wright really Satoshi? That's an easy one. Question 7. How many levels of verification consensus are standardized within DragonNet? Question 8. How old is Chad? We good? Question 9. What interchains are available on Dragon Chain currently? Question 10. In what city is the Dragon Chain headquarters? Question 11. In what city was the original Dragon Chain code written? Question 12. How many U.S. patents does Dragon Chain have? Question 13. What is the token model for the Dragon token? Question 14. How many days did it take to code Knowledge Perk's application on Dragon Chain? Question 15. What Dragon Chain employee worked with Knowledge Perk to build their solution? Question 16. In what city was the interview with Yoke Impex? Question 17. Where is Yoke Impex located? Question 18. What was Chad's start date at Dragon Chain? All right, and now we go into the lightning round bonus questions. Question 19. Dragon energy is equal to what? And question 20. How many interns lost their job to bring us that formula? And that's all the questions. And I will wait for the judges. There's a few second delay. So we have a lot of developer stuff coming up at the end of this month, and especially going into August. So there'll be some pretty interesting stuff happening at the end of this month and the beginning of next. And we're going to continue on with some of the merch stuff going on. Of course, this particular show will continue on and improve, and we're going to run as much as possible. We're going to run all of the content and announcements through this show, and have everything a little more clean and orchestrated through this, including when we launch some of the products coming up. Do we have any tabulation yet? We just need one. Oh, first. Oh, you're waiting on the other question? Serious? Okay. All right. There must be a longer delay. Okay. Wow. All right. We could do it. We could do a quick AMA too. If somebody has a question that they want to ask, we could answer it quick while we're waiting. And what we're doing today, I guess, is we're not telling you what all the prizes are, and I'm hoping that Jeffrey Netherlands doesn't leak it this week again. So we'll see. We'll see what comes. Do we have any?
One question is, how many offices does Dragon Chain have now?
Okay. Okay. So the question: how many offices does Dragon Chain have now? We have official office headquarters, Bellevue. We have. Oh shoot, that was one of the questions, wasn't it? Oh well. We have. That's a trick. We have an office in Rock Hill, South Carolina, where our apps team is, and we have an office in Singapore. At that 1880 club or building, and we're looking at a few other places and markets for that.
Another question is, when is Dragon Den going public?
Question: when is Dragon Den going public? We hope soon, and it's interesting because it won't be immediately publicly available. We're trying to keep it scarce, so we will probably add another round or two of beta users first, but in the process we're going to go through a layer creation, and there's even a couple things that will be announced soon about how we're rolling it out, but one way or another, there will be a way to get into the closed system. So it'll be kind of a hybrid beta. It'll be not easy to get in at first because we don't want too many users too fast, and we want to slowly grow it. So probably, well, we're hoping in the next couple of months. But
Can you say hi to the Italian Dragon Chain community?
in English, okay though. So hi to the Italian Dragon Chain community.
And then, what do you think of the companies also going after interchain/connecting blockchains?
What do I think about the companies or the other projects going after interchain and interop? I think it's all great. In fact, we're kind of trying to figure out which ones do we want to interchain with, and that's going to be an interesting question because not all of them are operational, right? So we think that we were first to that game, that we did that in 2016 at Disney. We even took strides towards it in 2015, but we had to we were inside, we had to get approval and stuff back then. So we were really early to it, and I guess probably a more important piece, and this isn't across the board, but I'm a little surprised that some of the interop competitors are more focused on token interop specifically, which is cool and actually really, really useful and interesting. And I've just been surprised by that because we were mostly focused on the security side, that is getting as many different algorithms in play for our own consensus process. That's the primary, but the secondary, and we think pretty radically important, is the utility side. That is, if you have multiple storage chains available and multiple smart contract platforms available, it gives the customer a lot of options. So our angle are those two things: the security and the utility. The token side we've played with, but we haven't had enough interest, or it's a little more complex. I don't want to say a little more complex in implementation because of the ownership of the keys and things like that. So anyway, that's a long answer.
So we have two people are tied.
We have two people tied: Texas Hold'em and Jared Houston. So we need a bonus question.
Yeah, we've got a bonus.
Okay, we have a bonus question. All right. Grabbing the bonus question. All right. All right, this is a good one. The bonus question is, this is the sudden death round here. So the first one to answer this wins. What prize? And that is true. It has to be one of those two, Texas Hold'em or Jared, right? What prize did Dragon Chain win in Bellevue this year? Are they both still online? We get to see how long the delay is, too. Repeat the question. What prize did Dragon Chain win in Bellevue this year?
So Jerry is a small company of the year. So Jerry.
Yeah, Jared wins. Okay. Small business of the year from the Bellevue Chamber, right? So thank you very much. That's everything. We will now draw for one of the three prizes, and trying to figure out how the best way to make sure this is random. So I will not look, and I'll show you what the three prizes are after, but you did not win. Jared. Final Boss JoJo T-shirt. And we'll probably throw in some extra merch too, but that was the prize, okay? The other prizes were 2,500 dragons or 5,000 dragons. So those are the three prizes. Jared wins the Final Boss JoJo the game theme T-shirt, and we'll throw some more stuff in there too. So let's see here. What else? We probably need to make sure Jared contact the team. I'm not sure how you're doing it, but one way or another, just to prove who you are and so on, so on. We'll see you next week. Thank you.